Okay, well, hey everybody, I'm Bob Mackey from OneUp.com, and I'm here with
Jose Otero, also from OneUp.com.
And we're going to check out the new HD remake, well, not really remake, but HD port of Peace Walker.
This is really exciting for me because I love Metal Gear, but I did not play Peace Walker, probably like a lot of people.
You are not alone.
Yes.
It was sort of shuffled off to an ignoble fate on the PSP that it did not deserve. And technically, I guess, people have said this in the past, and I believe it. It's really just Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, and like I did pick it up, and I did play it for a little bit, but
yeah.
And I adore the series as a whole, but I don't know, I just, for whatever reason, didn't give it the attention it deserves. So it's really nice to see it in this HD collection and be able to, you know, kind of play it online the way it was intended.
And play it with
right?
a real controller,
yes.
not with the crappy. I mean, they did as best a job they could with the PSP, but it still wasn't great. But one thing I want to show off with this game before we get into the gameplay is the fact that there is a staggering amount of content that no one believes me when I tell them this.
That's
but this
a lot. Yeah.
This is like most people finish this game within 60 to 70 hours.
Wow.
Because it is part RPG, part Metal Gear game.
Okay, and your save file, just to preface this, before we got into recording, Bob was flipping out because he wanted to transfer using his save file, so transfer his save file to his PS3 so he can use it for the purposes of this video, and he was freaking out because he didn't want anything to happen to this save file.
Yes.
Like it was like talking him off of a ledge.
Yeah, I was very protective of my save file, but unfortunately, because this is a debug PS3 and I have a retail PSP, they could not communicate, so transferring could not happen. But that will not happen if you buy the game, presumably.
Yeah, presumably.
So, actually, let me go back real quick. Now, there are main missions that are basically the story missions, and the story's pretty good, although I don't remember a lot of it. But along with the main missions, you also have these extra ops, which are sort of like what were those called? Virtual missions?
Oh, yeah,
VR
sure.
missions.
Yeah, VR missions have been with each Metal Gear. So
they're basically
Metal Gear Solid.
Just like that, except they use assets from the stages, only they're very specific challenges.
Oh, so you don't get like that technical like overlay kind of thing?
Oh,
like,
no.
You're in a computer.
It's basically like
there's a giant enemy that's stomping through town like Godzilla. Nothing off the wall like that.
No, really weird stuff happens.
Really?
I don't want to give it away, but later extra ops are just bizarre.
Wait a minute. Is it? Do they bring back the murder mystery from Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance?
I think they did. I don't want to say though because
they probably did.
Because I couldn't play it online because no one could with the PSP. I didn't get to see a lot of those.
Okay. So extra ops are purely things you want to play online then.
Right.
Okay. Very cool.
Let's actually get into the game because I don't think people want to stare at a menu the whole time. But
yeah, sure.
If you don't know how the game works, it's basically built around grinding. Now, that probably sounds really weird.
It sounds like an RPG to me.
It is. It's totally an RPG.
Grinding in Metal Gear can't be cool.
And before you go out on your mission, there's Big Boss or Snake with his frozen 1,000-yard stare, unfortunately. You choose what your weapon loadout you want it to be, and each stage has its own challenges and its own like different things you need to get past that different weapons can help you with. But I'm just going to go with the standard loadout for now.
Well, and this kind of ties into portable ops too, where you can you recruit soldiers that are going to make you technology and weapons as well, right? Does that carry over into Peace Walker a little bit, or not at all?
It does. Throughout all the stages, any soldier that you don't kill, you can send them back to your base by attaching this little parachute to them. It's really funny, and I'll show that off. But basically, each soldier has all their own different stats in 5 categories that build into your main base. Like there's medicine, there's tech, there's research, and there's a few other ones too. And each soldier has their own specialities. Some have special abilities, and you can also play as anyone you kidnap in the extra ops.
All right, cool.
And the good thing about that is when you play as those soldiers, you build up their experience, you make them more powerful. So like I said, there's an insane amount of content in the game that
so
you would
how
not
do these
expect.
controls transfer over? And before, maybe even before we get into that, just kind of remind folks, you are looking at a PSP, or something that was originally designed as a PSP game.
Yes.
So if you noticed earlier during that little cutscene where Snake was kind of crouched behind those boxes, the grass texture to his left, or right now it's his right, looked terrible.
They
and
do.
You're going to see that every once in a while.
This game is not a great showcase of textures, but oh my god, it feels like I just got cataract surgery or something after playing this on the PSP. And with the addition of a right analog stick, it feels like my legs were just unshackled because instead of just nudging the camera with 4 buttons, I have a full control of it with the right analog stick.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I'm not doing very good because I'm talking, but this game is these early stages aren't too difficult. And he got me.
He's on to you. You better run for it.
Yep. And
so sneaking changed a lot, specifically for Peace Walker. I mean, you're not sliding along walls like you would in Metal Gear Solid 2 or 3 or even 4. Like, you kind of crouch walk everywhere.
Yeah, crouch walking, moving and shooting is really like silky smooth in this game, and it feels like the biggest refinement to Metal Gear Solid 3's controls more than anything.
Over 4? I don't know. I liked what 4 did to those controls too.
Well, the thing about Metal Gear is a lot of the later games became way too easy because you could just trank everyone like I'm doing now.
Yep.
But the thing about
and
this,
he still didn't see you.
Yeah, pretty dumb.
Oh, you're asleep.
Yeah. So
wow, that was a good time.
Let me show this off real quick.
Yeah,
Here's how you basically build up your base, and I'll show that off when this level's over. So, let's say, all right,
that icon.
Send all you dudes back to home.
No one noticed the huge like plane that just swooped by and took 3 hot air balloons with guys attached. 4.
Yeah, so these guys are going to go back to my base. Sometimes you need to throw people in prison to break them in order to get them to join you. But these guys will help feed into the different systems that are going on at the base, like, you know, building new weapons, building new items, stuff like that. And, God, there's just so much to talk about. It's hard to even know where to go first. But like I said, the later Metal Gear games were a little easier because of the fact that you could just trank the hell out of everyone and then, like, just walk past them. In this game, the game starts off like that with the whole, you know, tranking stuff, but eventually the enemies outsmart you with that. They have helmets on. Some enemies are hiding, and you need to hold them up first in order to have them jump out to trank them. And yeah, I think they did a lot to solve the problems of the Metal Gear series. And also, a problem I had with Metal Gear is I don't like to kill anyone in the games.
Oh, really?
So I go through most of Metal Gear not using any of the weapons.
But wait, do you like to sneak around then, or do you like to just
prefer trank because the game rewards you ultimately for not killing anyone. That's one of the really interesting things about Metal Gear.
Yeah, no, they've all done that. Yeah.
But the one thing is, if you don't kill anyone, you don't get to use any of the fun toys. Peace Walker solves that by having robot bosses. So you have to use all of your heavy-duty machinery at some point because you're not going to trank a robot.
Yeah. Good point.
You're not going to trank a giant tank, although you can trank the guy who's driving it, and then you can steal the tank for yourself in some of the boss battles.
I'm trying to remember. Tranking always did tie into like finding an unusual item or object. I know in 2, if you tranked every boss, you got like a dog tag for it. In 3, what was the?
3 had the best rewards for tranking. You got the bosses. Each boss had
like
their own
equipment.
camo.
Yeah, that's right.
And some of the camo was just wacky. Like I forget, one of the camo just made you smell bad and covered you with flies. And maybe guards would just not pass out if they walked by them. But
sure.
And let's see if I can stick this guy up.
Okay.
Yeah, if you thought Metal Gear controls were difficult in the past, this game mostly solves every problem you've ever had. I mean, it's not like the most... All right, let's stick him up. It's not as smooth as like Uncharted or whatever, but it's way more technically involved.
Yeah, and you're not holding up like... Well, you're holding up. But you're not holding 4 different buttons on a controller to do something.
Exactly.
That was kind of the cool thing with 4 that changed, and then by extension fed into Peace Walker.
Right. As much as I liked the controls of Metal Gear Solid 3, I will admit that they are like a master's class in learning how to use a controller, just because every button does everything. It's pressure sensitive, which a lot of people just don't get, and I'll admit on the PS2 those pressure sensitive buttons were kind of not really that sensitive. It was either you're jamming the button all the way in, or you were just touching it lightly. There was no real in between. But this guy, I'm going to try to stick him up.
So I know you may know this, and if you don't, sorry, but the company that handled the HD port of this game, didn't they also handle
Blue Point? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, they also handled the Ico collection, right?
Yeah, they did, and they're amazing.
I've been corrected.
Uh-oh. I don't need to hang. I can do this. Oh. For some reason, you have to always get them.
You got to get the drop on them. Yeah, because if they turn around, it's over.
But, yeah, Blue Point does really great work. And for some reason, Snake is just... Okay, good. That was my controller problem.
Yeah. We're using a 6-axis right now, so...
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I forgot those existed.
That just happened, yep.
So, yeah, this is... Okay, I have to be able to stick this guy up.
Deja vu.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
All right, the countdown to Bob sticking up this dude. Okay, can you do it?
Did it.
Hey, hands up.
And as you can see, I don't even need to knock him out to send him into the sky. Although he does go limp for some reason. Maybe he was just like really afraid. I don't know how that happened.
And he doesn't let go of his rifle, but we are again talking about a PSP game.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Whoa. If you noticed, I picked up some specs for a weapon. And that's one of the good things about this game is you can explore and be rewarded for it. Watch this. See the context-sensitive, like I love that. I love that so
Yeah.
much. And we just like, oh, I threw him. Yep. They really simplifies the CQC in this game for the better.
Yeah. Well, and you can combo CQC as well if you're surrounded by like 3 guards. You'll get prompted every time to hit R1, but when you do it, it ends up being a really cool-looking combo.
I'm so glad you reminded me of that because that's one of the coolest things in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're surrounded, the worst part of Metal Gear is when you're surrounded, you just either have to wait or kill yourself or just have them kill you. In this game, you can like judo slam your way out.
You can really defend yourself, hand to hand, whereas in the other ones it wasn't so easy.
Now I'm going to...
Start talking.
As always, you can interrogate people.
Yep.
And some people have interesting things to say, some don't. And they talk with a really funny, like, you can hear it. It's not really...
it's a very robotic voice. I like, though, that you can't accidentally kill them.
Yeah.
Because in Metal Gear Solid 3, that was always kind of a challenge where you try to interrogate a guy, and if you accidentally held the wrong button
you'd slit
down
their
too
throat.
firmly, you'd slit their throat and be like, shit.
I don't know if this version of Snake is more peaceful, hence Peace Walker, but there is no throat slitting. There's not even neck breaking, I don't think, in this game. It's much more peaceful.
Yeah, that violent jerk that happens when people's necks get broken.
The crunch that's like somebody's off stage like tearing celery in half or something.
So you're headed towards a boss now, or?
Just the goal. Boss stages are their own thing, and I would show off a boss, but unfortunately, one of the big problems with this game is the bosses are really designed to be played to be fought with other people working with you. And in the beginning of the game, you're not really given the tools necessary to take out bosses by yourself, so it involves a lot of grinding. But once you're past that, sticking point, you'll be good.
So let me ask you this: what do the face buttons do now? Now that you don't have to use them for camera manipulation, because that's how it worked on PSP.
Right. That's a good question. Okay. Apparently, square turns on auto aim.
Okay.
Triangle does nothing. Wait, triangle. I think it's It's like the stick to the wall button, basically.
Okay.
I think circle.
And
these
circle
were actions
reloads that were originally mapped to the D-pad somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, this game has 4 different control setups, but really, if you're playing on the PS3, the default one is excellent.
Okay.
So I'm gonna sneak around here, and
there's someone here.
As you can see, I picked up some new.
Whoa!
Ooh, he's okay. These guys are pretty blind.
Yeah,
they don't have the excuse of being genome soldiers. They're just like. Maybe it was cheaper to hire blind soldiers. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been pretty. It's funny because like they could clearly see you and they're like, "Huh? Yeah, who's that?"
I don't know. I'm just gonna do a little sneak in here.
Well, no. Is there a radar like Soliton radar from Metal Gear Solid?
There is, but everything you equip takes up an item slot on your loadout.
Okay.
And so.
And for this time period, it takes up battery as well, right? I mean, it's something that uses juice.
I don't remember. It was like that in Metal Gear Solid 3. They might have simplified it just for the sake of, like, hey, maybe this is not historically accurate, but it's more fun to not have a battery. I don't remember that.
Oh, wow. Was that your real gun?
Oh, yeah. Another thing is about this game where I said it was really easy to trank people. Well, in this game, in every level, your silencer eventually runs out. So you can't just trank the living hell out of everyone because, eventually your gun is going to start making noise and that's going to alert people as what I did.
Can you walk around with a spare suppressor or no?
I don't think so. The thing is you can level up your gun to make your gun. Yeah, you can level up everything in this game. Your equipment, your guns.
You just picked up the love box.
I picked up the love box. I can show that off. Unfortunately, love box is not as good without 2 people in it. Because that's what it's designed for. As you can see, it says Love Pack.
Yesterday, Bob Mackey was in the Love Box with Greg Miller.
Yep. I fulfilled one of the goals of my life was to climb into a Love Box because I couldn't do that on the PSP. I tried. I tried Ad Hoc Party. I tried everything, but there was no online play to be had.
Yeah.
This guy
is there some sort of like matchmaking thing, or does it have to be a friend on your friends list?
You know what? You can be random. It could be a friend. It's. I was surprised how smart they went about this because, in my opinion, the PSP Peace Walker should have always had online play. They depended too much on the fact that you'd find people in your area, which was never going to happen because this game did not sell well.
I also like that in this game they had that, aside from just choosing your loadout for the Snake character that you picked, you also had multiple Snake characters to choose from.
Yeah.
You had heavily armored, you had one that was more like a sneaking suit, a stealth suit. You had one like the model you're using right now that's more reminiscent of the one from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Right.
Yeah, and that stuff's really cool.
And like I said, outside of the story, you can use anyone that you kidnap or save as your main character.
And there's a roof on this building.
Yeah, he went through the roof, but it's okay.
Oh, Kojima.
See, like in an older Kojima game, he'd be like, you see the parachute allows him to transfer through the roof through this magical science I just created, but in this game, it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
They can just go through the roof. Why not? Yeah. There are a lot of really cool toys.
Whip out your bigger gun. Let's go. I mean, get the assault rifle.
Oh,
out.
okay. Yeah.
Hey, you might as well just start shooting up the place.
I guess I can't kill people in this. I'm anti-killing people in Metal Gear, but hey.
You're actually peace walking.
I am peace walking. Uh-oh. All right. Well. Yep. It's really weird to see numbers fly out of a guy in a Metal Gear game, but it works. It works really well. Like the blue.
That really helps on bosses too.
Oh yeah, blue damage is like stun damage, and red damage is like actual death damage, I guess you could call it, or health damage.
The RPG elements kind of showing themselves in Metal Gear.
Yeah. Something just happened.
To somebody.
So it said sent to mother base. Any extra items you pick up in the game that you can't carry with you, immediately go back to your base.
Okay.
So like there's value to everything you do in this game. Like no second is wasted, no pickup is wasted because you're always like feeding into something.
And co-op supports up to 4 people.
It does, yeah.
Yes.
Some stages can only do 2 at a time. Like some they're like different requirements.
Oh
like,
yeah, you see them when you choose the mission.
Yeah, it's like
0,
this can have up to 2, this can have up to 4, but it's good regardless. So let's skip this cutscene. And unfortunately, there were really awesome comic book cutscenes, like interactive comic book cutscenes in this game, but those assets were not scaled up, so they look a little bad.
Okay.
But I'm not going to complain about this game because it's in a format that it always should have been in, and it's actually playable online, and it's actually accessible to the people that would be most interested in it.
Yeah, for sure.
For both like Xbox 360.
And it's the way it was intended.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't have to just pull up or know people on the street to play this game.
Yeah. It's like, do you have Peace Walkers, sir? No?
Please.
They called the cops on me. Yeah. Anyways, I just want to show off the mother base thing.
Okay.
Which is really interesting. So
you can
see, my research people are telling me, hey, if you want to spend GMP on this, which is kind of like your experience points, we'll build this for you.
Okay.
Apparently my morale is failing because I'm not feeding into my
You're not feeding the troops, man.
Yes. So everybody you take out of the game, no, I don't want to see this. Everybody you take out of levels joins your team in some way. And you can see they each have their different stats, and we can look at them up close like this. And each guy has their own quote, which there are a lot of them.
I won't do bad things.
They're randomized. Okay. But yeah, it shows the morale on the far right.
Wait,
and
check that last guy out. I don't want to fight. I want to be a cook. So a pacifist. You need to put this guy in the kitchen.
Put him to the kitchen.
Yep.
And actually, what I like to do is, okay, that guy has high kitchen power. I like to scroll through them. So this guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And this guy. So let's move all these guys to the kitchen.
So war isn't just about shooting people; it's also about feeding people.
Yes, that's very important. See, now I can make tortilla chips for my hungry soldiers and for Solid Snake. So we can also move people. Oops, get out of that. We can also move people into tech in order to develop weapons and stuff. So let's just move a ton of people into tech right now.
Okay.
So now I can make a shotgun.
Twin barrel.
And I can make a better.
How's the better one work?
I think they just give you more. I think that's how it's upgraded. So instead of having 5, you get like 10 or whatever, which is really nice. So eventually there are only 3 options, but eventually there are 9 for all the things you can do later in the game.
Word.
Yeah. So for this, all we can do now is weapons. As you can see, there's like different trees of weapons. So this grenade eventually becomes this grenade, which eventually goes on to this, this, and this.
Yeah.
They're usually more powerful, or they give you like you can carry more.
Okay.
But let's say I want to make.
There's a lot of weapons in this game. Similar to MGS4.
Yeah.
That game had a ton of weapons in it.
Yeah, it's following that same approach where there's a lot of variety. So I just told my team to make this. It's going to take a while depending on the amount of GMP I have and the amount of people that are actually working in that department. So that's what I love most about this game. Is like everything you do feeds into something, which eventually helps you in some way, like later on.
Yeah.
Mechs. I don't know if we can do this. Any boss you fight, you can also capture. If I forget what you have to do. I think you have to stun all the people or get rid of all the soldiers that come out of the boss, and then stun kill the final guy inside, like the pilot.
Okay.
Which is incredibly hard. But if you do it right, you get these. You get armored vehicles like tanks, helicopters.
But can you deploy them?
You can deploy them in outside missions that you don't actually see.
Okay.
Eventually in the game, there are something called outer ops, where you send your choice of soldiers and vehicles out on missions.
Okay.
And eventually you build your own mechs and send those out on missions too, and they bring back items, experience points, and so on. It's insane. Like this game has literally like hundreds of hours.
There's so many layers
yeah.
of RPG elements on top of a really solid action game.
And I don't think people were expecting that. I think they were just expecting, oh, wow, yeah, like a portable Metal Gear, that's exciting. But no, this is like really the most interesting Metal Gear gameplay-wise that's ever come out. And I really hope the next one follows up on all these elements because it's just insane the amount of time you can put into it and the amount of rewards you can reap from the game.
So is the story as wacky as 2, or is it somewhere along the lines of 3? Because 3 kind of brought everything back to something that wasn't so off the wall.
It's a little wacky.
It is.
It's like 3, but they cranked up the wackiness a little bit. But I could still tolerate it. But yeah, that's Metal Gear Peace Walker.
Excellent.
So that's out today. Hopefully you're watching this video on Tuesday.
Part of the Metal Gear Solid HD
Oh
collection.
yeah, I should say that they did a fantastic job. This is only $50, and there is like 3 of the best games of all time, and they all look fantastic. Even Peace Walker. I mean, I know it's a PSP game, but man, they did a good job with this collection.
Yeah, no,
I totally approve,
impressed.
and I'm gonna review this at some point. So hopefully today.
So we're gonna let Bob get back to that.
Yes. Thanks, Jose.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob.
Yep.